In the year 1271, a 17-year-old Venetian boy stepped onto a journey that would change how Europe imagined the rest of the world. His name was Marco Polo, and his voyage across deserts, mountains, war-torn kingdoms, and the largest empire ever seen would become one of the most extraordinary adventures in human history. This is the full story of Marco Polo's voyage to China. Our story begins in the bustling merchant city of Venice. Marco was born into a family of traders, his father Niccolo and his uncle Maffeo, men who had already crossed the Silk Road and met the Mongol emperor, Kublai Khan. When they returned to Venice after years abroad, they carried a special request from the great Khan himself to return to China with Christian scholars and sacred oil from Jerusalem. And this time, young Marco would join them. In 1271, the Polo family embarked on a mission that would take them across 6,000 miles. Their first major stop was the Crusader city of Acre, where they gathered papal blessings and supplies. From there, they traveled through Armenia, Persia, and the scorching deserts of Iran, facing intense heat, hostile bandits, and endless stretches of barren sand. Marco later wrote that in some deserts, travelers heard voices calling their names, an eerie illusion caused by wind echoing through the dunes. After months of exhausting travel, the Polos reached the towering Pamir Mountains, over 4,000 meters above sea level. Marco described the air as thin and icy, the nights filled with strange lights, meteor showers streaking across the sky. Crossing this deadly region, Marco fell ill in Badakhshan, forcing the family to stay nearly a year before they could continue. The route led them into the heart of Central Asia, Kashgar, Yarkand, and the oasis city of Khotan, famous for its jade. From there, they faced one of the harshest challenges of the entire Silk Road, the Gobi Desert. Marco wrote of sandstorms so fierce they swallowed whole caravans, and of cold nights so brutal they froze water instantly. But after hundreds of miles, the Polos finally reached the borders of China. The Polos were escorted to Chengdu, the legendary summer capital, also known as Xanadu. There, Marco Polo met the most powerful man on earth, Kublai Khan, emperor of the Yuan dynasty and grandson of Genghis Khan. The great Khan, impressed by Marco's intelligence, languages, and curiosity, took a liking to the young Venetian. He welcomed Marco into his court and soon trusted him with official missions across the empire. This was the beginning of 17 years of service in China. Marco Polo traveled farther across China than nearly any outsider of his time. He described the wonders of Khanbalik, modern-day Beijing, its palaces, markets, paper money, and a postal system so advanced that relay stations lined every major road. He marveled at Hangzhou, calling it the finest and most splendid city in the world. He visited Yunnan, the mountains of Tibet, and the massive Grand Canal, a network of waterways unlike anything in Europe. Marco reported details about porcelain manufacturing, silk production, coal, which he called black stones that burn, multi-decked Chinese ships with watertight compartments. To Europeans, these descriptions were astonishing. Marco's accounts became the West's first window into the riches of Asia. After nearly 2 decades, the Polos wanted to return to Venice. But Kublai Khan refused. He wasn't ready to lose his trusted envoys. Only a stroke of luck freed them. A Mongol princess was betrothed to Persia, and the Polos were chosen to escort her. The Khan granted them permission to leave on a massive fleet of ships setting sail from Quanzhou in southern China. The sea journey was far more dangerous than the Silk Road. Storms, pirates, and disease ravaged the fleet. Out of 600 passengers, only 18 survived. but the Polos were among them. They delivered the princess safely to Persia and continued their long trek across the Middle East and the Black Sea. In 1295, after 24 years abroad, the Polos finally reached Venice. Their relatives didn't even recognize them, but when the Polos cut open their coats, revealing jewels and precious stones sewn inside the linings, their story of unimaginable travel suddenly became believable. Marco Polo was a sensation. During a war between Venice and Genoa, Marco was captured as a prisoner of war. In his cell, he dictated his adventures to a writer named Rustichello da Pisa. The result was the Travels of Marco Polo, a book that introduced Europe to China, Japan, India, Tibet, Southeast Asia. The book inspired explorers for centuries, including Christopher Columbus, who carried a copy on his voyages. Whether every detail was true or not, one thing is certain: Marco Polo reshaped the Western understanding of the world. Marco Polo's voyage to China remains one of the greatest travel stories ever told. A journey across continents, cultures, and civilizations at a time when the world was vast, mysterious, and perilous. It is a reminder of human curiosity and the endless desire to explore the unknown.